Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Weekly Shonen Jump Breakdown for the week of November 20th, 2017. My name is Trey, we're the Full Spectrum, and let's get started. So we start off this week with Boruto, Chapter 18, The Hand, and this was a okay chapter, I guess. You guys know that I've been a little cold on Boruto in the past, and my biggest issue in this chapter, honestly, is just how long it takes Boruto to come around on the ninja tools. It's kind of until Mitsuki says something about how useful they'll be for saving chakra and things like that, that make him start to go, oh, okay. But, like, 2 chapters ago, on the bus, or the train, that is, he was like, oh, man, these things might not be so bad after all, when he met that guy who works for Kara. And it was just like, did we forget all of that development? And it feels like we purposefully forgot that development so that we could focus on the stuff with him and Katasuke. And everything about Katasuke helping out Shimaru. And, you know, there obviously we have Inuzuka. It feels weird to me. Because we were kind of doing this thing and then we just backed it up just to be able to have this extra development for this side character that we could have still had anyway, with Boruto going, it did help that guy out, and it does seem like it might be kind of useful, but I don't know. I just don't know. It just feels weird to me that we're acting like that never happened, really. And I don't really like that at all, honestly. Then there's the weird part of this chapter that I didn't really completely understand the point of. Naruto sends Boruto and Mitsuki and Sarada to go and back up Konohamaru, who is a Jonin. And obviously the point of the mission is just to go and check it out and make sure he's okay. And if he's okay, great. If he's not, get out of there, come back, don't interfere. Here's my first problem with that. Naruto knows what he would have done if Konohamaru was in trouble. So why does he think that Boruto would be any different? And as if that wasn't bad enough, Sai and Shikamaru are right there. Sai draws a bird, they fly off on the bird, they get to Konohamaru way faster. Just, I don't know, guys. That one threw me for a loop. I didn't expect that one. I didn't understand that one. It was very strange. Very strange. Also, chakra lightsabers. Chakra lightsabers. Those are coming back. Those are definitely coming back. The whole point right now was that they were too powerful and they couldn't use them because they drained too much chakra. Those are coming back. 100%. Bet on it. Next up is Black Clover 134, Dream. We see some stuff about Licht and about his kid, and then it's clear that we're getting that from the perspective of the guy who's leading the bad guys now, and that everything's gonna, come to a head in the bad guys' fortress, which we get to see at the end of the chapter, and it looks great. But we also get to see, Mario Leona being cool, Asta and Ro being bummed, cheering Asta up after Noelle tried, and her getting upset. The robes are pretty cool, but they cover up everybody's individual styles, which is very unfortunate to me, because it reminded me immediately a lot of the Jonin uniform that everybody in Naruto, go figure, we were just talking about Naruto, that everybody in Naruto wound up wearing, that made it where all of their cool individual designs were gone too. Except for Asta, who for some reason has it up to like here, and then the rest is just his regular outfit. Shirin, Cobb, and Nozel show up too, and it felt a little weird having this whole competition, and then going, we need the competition, but we want Shirin and Cobb because their powers are cool, and, we need some more power on this team, so Nozel, you're here too. It's like, guys, what was the point then? Was it just to have a tournament arc? Because if that was the point, that's really disappointing. The king shows up, Mario Leona overrides him, And she fires up both Asta and Luck, and then we get that shot of the enemy base that I was talking about. This was a pretty good chapter, all told. The back and forth between the characters was good. I just wish that there had been some more reasoning behind the tournament given after they just added people at the end. If it had been, hey, you had a really good performance in the tournament anyway, so here you go. But Nozo wasn't a part of the tournament. I'm sorry, I'm sick. I'm trying really hard not to sneeze. I took my glasses off to try to prevent the glare, and now my eyes I look like Suika from Dr. Stone a couple weeks ago. But it was a pretty good chapter. I guess we'll see how this fight goes. Black Clover, like always, is going a mile a minute, so we'll see. Next up is My Hero Academia 160, Expressway. This was a great chapter. Everything going on with the League of Villains being super prepared, not to help the Hasakai, but to steal the Hasakai members. And specifically the fact that Shigaraki didn't even really want the members as much as he just wanted to really hurt Overhaul some more. We find out that Spinner's a pretty bad driver. He learned everything he knows from GTA. That there's the hero Snatch, who's a sand hero, is there to stop them. The villains are actually really capable of fighting him off, or what's left of him, anyway, after they're done. They stole Chisaki's arm and cut off his hand. Shigaraki's line of, "It's a real nail-biter now," good luck with that, basically. Oh, man. Shigaraki's just flare as he walks away with his arms out with the explosion happening behind him. Oh, I loved this chapter. Shigaraki for so long has kind of seemed like a joke villain. The only time that he was really super intimidating was when he found Deku in the mall and grabbed a hold of him. So to be able to see him here take down Overhaul, I mean, yeah, Overhaul had already been beaten, but still, great job, man. Loved this chapter. Next up, we have We Never Learned 40. An elder faces her own choice with X. So, this was a fun chapter. Yuiga getting conned into buying a magazine of the pornographic variety. Asumi being there and finding out. Their dad, he wishes. Her dad riding by on a bike, and making them tell a friend of hers from school that they were dating to be able to keep up the act. The cop that's like, "Eye on the road, sir." The whole thing with the pictures, because he saw the distance between them and wanted it to lessen. It's actually a really solid chapter when it comes to the dad character, because his whole motivation here is just to make his daughter and the guy that he thinks she's dating closer. And so he does a lot of pushing to try and help with that, but he just wants them to be happy. And I really liked that. Originally, when his character was introduced, I was afraid it was constantly going to be, what if he finds out? Oh no, he's suspicious. But it never really seemed like he was suspicious in this chapter to me. Even the moment where he's like, could this all be a fake? It seemed to me more that he was trying to get them closer than he was trying to push them apart. So I really appreciated that. You also got a genuine Asumi smile. And then she asks for one more shot. Leans in to kiss Yuiga, who gets super nervous. And then right before she kisses him, she takes the picture. She says she's going to make it her wallpaper, and I bet she did. Poor Yuiga. Just constantly getting teased by all these girls. You know? I respect the guy. He's working real hard to try and get his studies done, and that's what he's focused on. And these girls are really distracting him. But I really enjoyed this chapter, and we'll see what happens next week. Next up, we have Dr. Stone 36, Kinro and Ginro. Magma's surprise attack on Kinro. I didn't expect that, but I still expected an attack. Everything about Mantle losing on purpose, holding on and then losing on purpose to Chrome so that Kahaku fails and doesn't make it back in time, so she loses her match by default. Senku advancing because of that. Kahaku not caring. She's glad Suik is okay. I feel like Jasper probably could have looked over, seen her coming, and been like, but it's fine. Maybe he's tired of Kahaku always winning too. Either way, it's down to Ginro, Senku, and Chrome to take on Magma. And speaking of Ginro, the power of persuasion is a very powerful thing. Because he has convinced himself that because of science, he is unstoppable. And he wins his match. Just boom. I love that the power of persuasion is brought up here. Because that happens so often in life already. And so often we don't see it in manga. It's always power of friendship or willpower. But instead, no, Ginro has convinced himself that this is making him stronger. And so he actually is using that strength that he's had this whole time. Because he thinks he's stronger. Yeah, absolutely. This was a really solid chapter. I feel bad for Kinro, but at least he's not dead. At least he's okay. So, we'll see. It was just perfect in line with his character to turn around and ask him about the rules like that. He is honest to a fault. And I like that about him. I honestly do. Next up we have Food Wars 240. Not cute. Comfiture. Comfiture, of course. Of course. Sorry, I keep rubbing my eyes. It's because I'm sick. My apologies, guys. They itch, and I shouldn't be rubbing them at all. Normally I wear glasses, so I can't. But I took my glasses off to fight the glare. But Megami used Comforture. It makes perfect sense. It's not enough. She still loses. But she fought really hard. She fought really hard. And the thing that cost her in the end was that she didn't get the blend right on the bitterness when it comes to the ginger. Just that little tiny single thing. It would have been more than enough for her to win in a regular match. And if it had been served to somebody, they probably wouldn't have even cared. But when you're going up against Momo, that's a match where you can't make a mistake like that. And Megami tries to hold it in, but she sheds a few tears. And she does eventually get them dried up, and she's good to go. But while she's crying, Momo still uses her full name. Momo respects her now. She views her as an actual threat, on par with her own level, and she walks away to go rest. So there will be more Momo in the future, and hopefully we'll get to see another situation between the two of them. It was a really touching part of this chapter to me when Megami talks about how she really wanted to win for the rest of the team, and she really wanted to win for herself, and she really wanted to win for Coach. Because that's three different things that somebody could focus on. Admiration for a teacher, pride in themselves, and a sense of responsibility to the team. And any one of those things could have been the driving force. But she's honest about how she wanted all three. And, that's just a great thing to see when a character will just be honest about that. She's not down, though. She's cheering on Soma, and he is fired up, ready to take on Saito. So that is going to be an interesting match there, to be sure. Next up, we have Robot Laserbeam 144, Daizon Open Preliminary Round Part 3. Dorian's a really nice person, and a weeb, and that's okay. He already thinks of Robo as a friend. Apparently it doesn't take much to make him his friend, but hey, that's a good thing. It just proves that he's got a big heart. He, Robo, and Sato all make it to the third day, Shosato. But Yada does not. Yada doesn't make it in. Sorry, Yada. Robo ties with Dorian for first on the third day, and Rion gets 11th. So Rion is got to step it up a little bit. He's taking it too long to get fired up here. They get a flat tire, and Dorian lifts the small car so they can change it. Sure. Okay. Why not? Alright. I didn't really like that happening, because I've... Granted, yeah, we've had Shonen stuff going on, but I was kind of enjoying how, for the most part, there was... I was about to say there was realism in the series, but then I remembered Kurasuma's golf ball that lit on fire for the spin back. Never mind, it's fine. He says a friend in need is a friend in debt after all, because he doesn't speak Japanese well. And on the drive back, Robo talks to Takia about how he's not sure he can win. And I love that this doesn't seem to be, and I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to me anyway to be a he's stronger than me, he's better than me, but more of a he's a really nice person, and I don't know that I can beat him. Because this is a completely different type of person rival, I guess you could say, for Robo to go up against. Because normally he goes up against like Yozan and Suzaku and all these people that are super confident and super stoic or crazy. I love Suzaku so much. And taunt him with their skills. And instead, here's Dorian, who's genuinely a really nice guy. And Robo doesn't know how to face him. How does he face him? And I love that it's getting to him. I'm looking forward to the next chapter to see how things work out there. Next up, we have the Promised Neverland 64. Could have been me. The Nameless Man refuses, and Emma persists. She plays the "we're the same" card, and she's right. They are the same. And he hates it. She tells him her plan to go back and get the others. She's pushing pretty hard, inviting him to see the human world with him. The world his friends wanted to see. She tells him about Norman. They had to carry on the will of their dead friends. And he breaks. He breaks and tells her she's got to turn around immediately. Don't go to Goldie Pond. They're going to, and before he can finish that sentence, Emma gets grabbed. And she's dropped into a wonderful looking fantasy town. I loved this chapter so much! So often we see villains play the "we're the same" card. Here the hero plays it, and she's 100% right! And he knows it, and he hates it. And she gets through. She breaks through to him, and he doesn't try to save her, because that's still not something he would do. He might do it now that he's got time to think about it and raise there. But at the time, his only response is, turn around. Go back. They're going to. Technically, he does try to save her, but I mean physically he doesn't try to save her. This is as much as he can do at this point right here where she has mentally broken him, is to tell her to leave for her own sake. I love it so much. I'm looking forward to the Nameless Man turning things around and him and Ray helping her. And Emma, being smart like always. Emma called it. I said last chapter I didn't think this was a good idea, but she 100% called it, and I'm super proud of her in a really weird way because I know she's not real, but I'm still super proud of her. Great chapter. Great chapter. Next up, we have One Punch Man 77, Cheapo Trick. The board is really worried about the funding. The monsters just want to be left alone, they claim. And we think at first that this may be the Cheapo Trick that the chapter's titled after. And it could be. But I assume it's the other one that we see later. They ask for an armistice, even as they feed on a man. So one of the board members steps forward and gets shot. It was all a joke! And they want a big fight. Honestly, I don't know. Like, I get that it's One Punch Man, and people make joke decisions. What was the point, from their perspective, of playing this joke? Just to kill one guy? I mean, I get it. Gyoro just wanted to have fun. But it just seems a little weird. And then he just kind of leaves Destrochloridium there? Chloridumium? That's how you say that word. Alright. It just felt really weird to me. I mean, I get that the whole point is supposed to be a fight, and if he was really as strong as he thought he would, then he would just leave, and that would be fine. But, of course, he doesn't get to leave because Black Luster arrives and just smashes him to pieces. The parasite tries to get into his body, but his skin's toughened by steel. So he just crushes him. Everybody starts to panic, so Black Luster flexes for him. Then asks him if it worked. It doesn't. Gyoro tries to get the other monsters hyped up to serve Orochi. They just want to fight the heroes. Orochi then eats Roach Awakening and goes to eat Super S2 before Gyoro, I'm going to trip over that every week, intervenes. Probably won't have to for long. Gyoro is probably going to die soon anyway. The question gets asked of where Goketsu is. Meanwhile, Mr. Human Monster himself wakes up, and he's in too bad shape to fight, but he thinks that King was the one that beat him. And I love that that's what it is. It was actually just Saitama knocked him away, but he thinks it was King. He sees Death Gatling, who I always think has looked pretty cool, although super edgy, but still pretty cool, and flees. Then we get to see one of two things that one of two other things this chapter might be titled after, where Saitama tries to cheapo trick Mash a win in a fighting game against King, and King uses the true cheapo trick combo to beat him. King apologizes, and then we see Gyoro finding Goketsu's body and being shocked. And you may say, but Trey, that's not a cheap trick. Saitama beat him straight, like, fair and square. But the Monster Association has no idea what's going on, because Goketsu was one of their strongest. So I just love the idea that they have no idea what's happening to him. He's dead. They don't know who did it. And Saitama is playing video games the whole time instead. Like, he is the bane of their existence, and they don't even know he's there. So, I'm looking forward to it. We're going to get some big fights here. I still just kind of want Saitama to get recognized, but right now he's going through that thing where he doesn't even know if he wants to be a hero anymore. So, I'm sure he will get involved in this big fight. I really kind of just want things to get back to the Saitama trying to get recognized, Genos and Sui Ryu serving under him as students. We'll see. Things are in a pretty bad place in this world right now, so we'll get back there at some point, I hope. But we will move on to the lightning round. Boruto 18, The Hand. I'm really cold on this chapter. I'm going to give it one thumb down. Because I feel like we did a lot of walking back with Boruto that we didn't need to do. He should have been more, not excited, but more open to these ninja tools after what he saw in the trade. And the fact that he's immediately just pushing them away, even though they're really cool and have some actual, practical applications. Why would he be excited for the flash bombs? That seems right up his alley. One thumb down. Black Clover 134, Dream. I'm going to call this one completely even. I was excited about seeing the enemy base and some of the conversations, but I was opposite excited, completely disappointed about the uniforms, because although I think they look cool, I see the trend that it is taking, and I'm worried about that. So completely even on Black Clover 134 Dream. My Hero Academia 160 Expressway, 2 thumbs up, great chapter, Shigaraki being creepy, hand over his face, like always. Chisaki's arms are gone. Great one-liners, 2 thumbs up. We Never Learned 40, and Elder Faces Her Own Choice with X. Really enjoyed this chapter. Everything to do with the dad and the moving them together. The pictures thing was a really clever way to get them in a bunch of romantic situations. And, just like Asumi. So, 1 thumb up. Not 2. Don't change it. Dr. Stone 36, Kinro and Ginro. Really solid chapter. Kinro being completely honest. Ginro with the power of persuasion. Kohaku caring about Suika. Really good chapter. Food Wars 240, not cute. Good chapter. Could have used a little bit more information about the bitterness. Maybe just even one more paragraph talking about why it failed would have explained it better. And I just felt like it needed just a little bit more. But other than that, it was a really solid chapter with Megami, holding on and cheering and everything. And Momo using her full name. That's exciting. So, good chapter. Robot Laserbeam 144, Daizon Open Preliminary Round Part 3. Good chapter. Everything to do with Dorian and the friendship there. Really liked it. Almost took one away for the car, but then I remembered the fire thing, so whatever. It's fine. Promised Neverland 64 could have been me. 2 thumbs up. Great chapter. Great chapter. You and me, we're the same deep down. Great chapter. One Punch Man 77, Cheapo Trick. It was a fine chapter. It wasn't a bad chapter. It wasn't a great chapter. I enjoyed seeing all the monsters, and there was a bunch of cool stuff happening, but, But we'll be back next week with some more Weekly Shoujo Breakdown. I've been Trey, trying to get my glasses back on so you can see me the way they're supposed to be, before I can figure out why my new glasses are causing so much glare. We've been the Full Spectrum, and we'll be back next week. Remember to always enjoy the full spectrum that Jump has to offer.